A food you have eaten for years can suddenly start upsetting your stomach after 60. The same glass of milk, the same bowl of chili, the same salad, coffee, pasta, or Sunday dinner that never used to bother you can suddenly leave you bloated, gassy, uncomfortable, constipated, or rushing to the bathroom. And that is what makes it confusing. The food may look the same, the recipe may be the same, the restaurant may be the same, but your body may not be handling it the same way anymore. For many people over 60, this becomes one of those quiet health changes that feels too small to mention, but too frustrating to ignore. You may start avoiding meals you used to enjoy. You may feel nervous before going out to eat. You may wonder whether your stomach has simply become sensitive. Sometimes the answer is simple. Sometimes it is just a large meal, too much coffee, or eating too quickly. But sometimes the pattern is trying to tell you something. Not something to panic about, something to pay attention to, because the better question is not only, which food caused this? The better question is, what changed in my digestion, my routine, my medications, or my body that made this food harder to handle now? Many people assume that if they tolerated a food for decades, it cannot suddenly become a problem. But food tolerance is not fixed forever. Digestion can change with age, activity level, hydration, bowel habits, medication use, stress, sleep, and underlying health conditions. A meal that felt easy at 45 may sit differently at 65 or 75. That does not mean the food is bad. It may simply mean your body now needs a different rhythm, a different portion, or a closer look at what else is going on. One possible reason is slower digestion. As people get older, food may move through the digestive system differently. For some, meals feel heavier than they used to, especially large meals, fatty foods, or meals eaten quickly. When digestion slows, you may feel full sooner. You may feel pressure after eating. You may notice bloating, belching, or discomfort that lingers longer than expected. Another common issue is constipation. Many older adults think of constipation only as not going enough, but constipation can also show up as fullness, pressure, bloating, cramping, or a stomach that feels uncomfortable after meals, low fluid intake, low fiber intake, less movement, certain foods, and some medications can all play a role. And when the bowel is already moving slowly, even a normal meal can feel like too much. Gas is another reason familiar foods may suddenly feel different. Some foods contain carbohydrates that are not fully broken down in the small intestine. When they reach the large intestine, gut bacteria break them down and produce gas. That is why foods like beans, lentils, broccoli, cabbage, onions, whole grains, certain fruits, and carbonated drinks can cause bloating or pressure in some people. These foods can still be healthy. The issue is not that they are dangerous. The issue is that your gut may now be more sensitive to portion size, preparation, meal timing, hydration, or how quickly you eat. Dairy is a good example. Some people notice that milk, ice cream, cream sauces, or certain dairy foods become harder to tolerate later in life. One possible reason is lactose intolerance, where the body has trouble digesting lactose, the natural sugar in milk. That can lead to gas, bloating, cramps, nausea, or diarrhea after dairy. But it is important not to self-diagnose too quickly. Dairy discomfort does not automatically prove lactose intolerance, and lactose intolerance is not the same thing as a milk allergy. If the pattern is frequent, confusing, or affecting your diet, it is worth asking your doctor about. Reflux is another common piece of the puzzle. After 60, some people find that large dinners, greasy foods, coffee, chocolate, alcohol, carbonated drinks, spicy meals, or eating close to bedtime can trigger heartburn or indigestion. Sometimes reflux feels like burning in the chest. Sometimes it feels like sour taste, throat irritation, coughing, nausea, pressure, or discomfort after meals. And sometimes the only way people describe it is, I just can't eat that anymore. Again, the goal is not to fear food. The goal is to notice patterns. Medication effects also deserve attention, especially after 60. Prescription medicines, Over-the-counter drugs and supplements can sometimes affect the stomach or bowels. Some may contribute to constipation. Others may cause nausea, diarrhea, reflux-like symptoms, stomach irritation, or appetite changes. This is especially important if your stomach symptoms began after starting something new, changing a dose, or adding a supplement. The safe step is not to stop medication on your own. The safe step is to bring your full list of medications and supplements to your doctor or pharmacist and ask whether any of them may be linked to your digestive changes. Meal size can make a bigger difference than many people realize. Some people keep eating the same portions they ate years ago, even though their activity level, muscle mass, appetite, and digestion may have changed. A large meal that once felt normal may now feel heavy. Eating quickly can make it worse. When you eat fast, you may swallow more air, miss fullness signals, and put more pressure on your digestive system. Sometimes the same food, eaten more slowly or in a smaller amount, feels very different. Hydration also matters. When you do not get enough fluids, bowel movements can become harder and slower. Then, when you eat, you may feel backed up, tight, or bloated. This is one reason constipation and bloating often travel together. Fiber is another area where people can get caught off guard. Fiber can support regular bowel movements, but adding too much too quickly can cause gas, bloating, and discomfort. A sudden switch from low fiber to large salads, beans, bran cereal, or fiber supplements may overwhelm the gut. The safer approach is gradual change and attention to how your body responds. And sometimes the stomach is not reacting to one food at all. Stress can affect digestion. Poor sleep can change appetite and gut rhythm. Less physical activity can slow bowel movement. Illness can temporarily change tolerance. A change in routine can alter meal timing, hydration, and bowel habits. That is why blaming one food too quickly can be misleading. The pattern matters more than one uncomfortable meal. Ask yourself, does the discomfort happen after dairy? After greasy foods? After coffee? After carbonated drinks? After large dinners? After eating late? After beans or certain vegetables? After several days of constipation? After starting a new medication or supplement? A simple food and symptom journal can help. You do not need to track every bite forever. Just write down what you ate, when symptoms happened, what they felt like, and what else was going on that day. Over a week or two, patterns may become clearer. And if you decide to speak with a doctor, that information can make the conversation much more useful. There are times when stomach changes should not be ignored. It is worth talking with a healthcare professional if symptoms are new, persistent, worsening, or affecting your daily life. You should also seek medical advice if you notice blood in the stool, black stools, vomiting blood, unexplained weight loss, severe or frequent abdominal pain, difficulty swallowing, repeated vomiting, major changes in bowel habits, or heartburn that keeps coming back or does not improve with usual measures, and if what feels like indigestion comes with chest pain, shortness of breath, pain spreading to the arm or jaw, faintness, severe weakness, or sudden sweating, treat that as urgent. Sometimes symptoms in the chest or upper abdomen can come from something other than the stomach. For everyday digestive support, start with the basics. Eat a little more slowly. Notice fullness before you feel stuffed. Consider smaller meals if large meals leave you uncomfortable. Stay hydrated, especially if constipation is part of the pattern. Move your body regularly if you are able, because even gentle activity can support bowel function. If you are increasing fiber, do it gradually. Pay attention to common triggers, but do not assume you have to eliminate everything. And if symptoms began after a medication or supplement change, ask a doctor or pharmacist to review it with you. The goal is not to become afraid of eating. The goal is to understand your body's new signals. After 60, digestion may become more sensitive to timing, portion size, hydration, movement, medications, stress, and certain ingredients. A food that once felt easy may now need a different approach, but new digestive symptoms should not be brushed off forever as just aging. The main lesson is this: when familiar foods suddenly upset your stomach, the food may only be part of the story. Look at the timing, look at the pattern, look at medications, bowel habits, meal size, sleep, stress, and hydration. Most importantly, talk with a qualified healthcare professional if symptoms are persistent, severe, worsening, sudden, or interfering with your life. Your stomach is not trying to scare you. It may simply be asking you to pay attention in a more careful way, and after 60, that kind of attention can help you stay more comfortable, more informed, and more confident about what your body may be telling you. If you want more calm, practical explanations about health changes after 60, subscribe to the channel. We focus on the body signals many people overlook and what they may mean for healthy aging, independence, and everyday life.